go. Hopefully this works out. Going east on Tail of the Dragon. And I'm on traction control sport mode. Put the windows up a little bit more. Traction control sport mode. You'll hear some beeping from time to time. That's my dash cam warning me of problems in my driving. So, Tail of the Dragon is like 11 or 13 or so miles, somewhere in there. It's, I think, 250 roughly turns. And I've done, this is my 5th time or 6th time doing it in the past couple of days. So, I'm not experienced by far, but I am a little more comfortable with it. I don't even know if this is coming out in the video form. But anyway, so I'm in sport mode for the DSG as well, only because the biggest problem here is that because of the total amount of vehicles on the road, turns, cops, there are turkey crossing at some points, you really can't, I mean, shifting is a requirement if I had a manual car, but I don't have a manual car, which means I don't have to worry about it. I know it's lazy of me, but I would rather remain on the road than be off a ravine somewhere because I wanted to be a man and manually shift my paddle shifters. Which is funny because, the paddle shifters, it's actually faster and more accurate to keep it in sport DSG mode because whenever I use the paddles, I try to drop. What's happening when I'm in 3rd gear in manual mode? The DSG transmission preloads 4th, and then I'm downshifting to 2nd, but I haven't hit the brakes yet, and so the actual car is a bit confused, and it will basically go, "Oh shit, I gotta go down to 2nd," and it would it's actually delayed, so it affects my drive a bit. So, with that said, the sport mode recognizes me letting off the accelerator, tapping, not actually braking, but just tapping the brake pedal, and it starts to preload the lower gear. So I like that a lot. And I did one run of the Dragon. My first run was in manual mode, and I have not gone back to it since. This is the most intense drive I've ever been on in my life. And, the first couple runs were fairly slow. I probably didn't exceed the speed limit, except for in straightaways. And it is remarkable to me that my car is able to do so well. Sorry, I was being quiet there because it's scenic overlook. I didn't want to hit anyone. So, big rules here, and if you ride a motorcycle, you'll understand why this is so important. If you're a motorcycle rider, you enter a turn, towards the yellow line, so you can see around the corner better, and then you ease on the throttle while you turn into the white part of the line in your lane. And why this is so important for me as a car driver is that sometimes in turns, it's far easier for me to keep a higher speed by going over the yellow line, aka the mustard. So what happens is, if I am in a corner and I slowly ease over that yellow line by even 6 centimeters, I'm gonna clip a motorcycle who's in the middle of his turn, and I won't know it until it's too late. I can't pull to the right because I'll go off the ravine. He can't do much about it. We basically just collide, and we're both kind of fucked. So I have to be more conservative than I actually probably could in this car because of that. If you're on a track, you can go over the yellow line in turns if you'd like. You might get some penalties, but it's very common in auto racing to go over the yellow line. But if I do it in a big turn, I may kill someone. Incredibly important. The white line, I can ride the white line on the outside of these turns. So as far as lines go, I enter in straight, I come in tight, stay as far from the yellow as I can, and then ease out of the steering as I enter the white there. There's a GTI, there's a Corrado, and a couple of Golf Rs. I am amazed at these Pilot Super Sport tires. And so a couple of notes about the Golf R. The Mark 7, this is not stock suspension. I'm on Volkswagen Racing street springs. They are, I think, 0.8 inches lower in the back, 1 inch lower in the front. They are not coilovers. They are not full suspension. And they are they're incredibly stiff. So I do like the response from them. But I must say that this car does not excel at dragging. There are a couple of Mark 5, Mark 6 Golf Rs here that are doing incredible things. They are entering turns 65 miles an hour and just hugging the corner. And their cars just absorb the power they're putting down. The ass lowers down. It takes the power to the rear wheels perfectly. In cornering, they hug it. And I know it's driver skill. I'm definitely a beginner. But there are some suspension packs that are just phenomenal. And it's clear that I need one of those. I'm also in DCC race mode, which does stiffen up the dampering of the shocks a bit. It stiffens up the steering, increases throttle response, and the Sport DSG will shift slightly quicker than it would in comfort or normal mode. Back to suspension, I have ordered a rear sway bar in Lynx. I'm actually not convinced I want to do that because there was a cop up here earlier, wasn't there? There was. He's not there anymore. I ordered, which means he's probably farther up. The rear sway bar, what it does, so right now I have 4 wheels that are independently moving, on their own. And with the rear sway bar, you're essentially locking up the rear wheels together. And there are 3 settings, low, medium, and high tension. I don't know, actually, if I want to have that installed anymore. And the reason I say that is because in situations like this, you actually kind of want your all 4 rear wheels to be independent. The rear sway bar on a car like mine, which is front wheel biased, it's a little bit more 50-50 when I'm in race mode. Definitely a lot of traction in the rear end when I'm, throttling and there's less front end grip available. But a rear sway bar will essentially lock up my rear wheels as one connection. So, for example, if I go over a 2x4 my right rear wheel, the left rear wheel will also kind of raise up a little bit. That's a little scary to me. And in fact, my friend Walter has a APR Stage 3 Mark 7 Golf R. I don't think he has lowering strength, but he does have the rear sway bar on the highest setting. And he was complaining about a bit of ass end bounce around corners, especially when he gets at throttle. The ass end will jump a little bit, jitter across, and he says that's not good. It's a little scary, and he doesn't like it. I was curious how you can mitigate that, and I think a lot of it will come down to very tight corners. These are very much similar to what we can find in the autocross, these hairpin turns here, and especially at the speeds that we're going, not anymore because I'm behind motorcycles. And the rear sway bar works to his disadvantage in that case. So I'm behind some motorcyclists here. So we've got to ease off a bit. So, back to the wheels and tires. I got my tangent there. The Pilot Super Sports are great. I like them a lot. But the brakes do not support this kind of activity. Now, let's back up a second here. The Golf R Mark 7 brakes are fantastic. According to a lot of guys that basically bought this car only for track use, not for daily driving. And for those guys, They say they're adequate, but when it's time to replace them, they're upgrade. Um, and my comment probably should be taken with a grain of salt because I am a beginner. I am trying to follow the proper strategy of braking enough to be able to take a turn, but I brake long before the turn, let off the brake before I enter the turn, and throttle increase as I exit the turn. And that's really how you're supposed to do it, because if you brake in a turn, you're forcing the brake, the wheel that's getting all of the inertia sent to it to work overtime to keep you slow you down. So you should brake here, let off, take a turn. I've got a lot of guys that were not doing that, and the result was when we finished the Dragon Run, I would put my hands inside my wheel well. It was hot, hotter than it has been before, but it was nowhere near what the other guys were having, where you could actually put like a raw egg in there and hard boil it with the amount of heat coming off. In fact, I'm not shitting on Walter here at all, because he and I are both new to the platform, and we're both in the same similar skill level as far as our driving skills. But his center caps, his front center caps for his wheels came off completely. And they came off because of the immense amount of heat that was in his brake pads and his brake rotors that was being transferred to the wheel bearings and into the wheels. And you couldn't even hold on to his 19-inch wheel spokes. That's how hot they were. Because he's braking, he's straight away he's hitting 100. He's doing a very hard brake to make a turn, and then coming out of the turn and doing 100 again. And although he definitely gets to the dragon faster than me, he's going to need new pads after this trip. Whereas I probably shortened my pad life by 6 months to 8 months, but he definitely gets some of this other stuff. Let's see if we can get these guys to go, because I'm really not 20 miles an hour. This guy's going over the yellow line and the white line. Let's see if we can have them get over here. Although the only silver lining to these guys being in front of me is that there's a copper on one of these bends. As they told me, this was probably moved forward. I won't be getting a ticket, so that's good. So, let's see. Maybe if we pass the cop, then we will pass the bend. So Taylor Dragon actually is traditionally known by motorcyclists, not by drivers. So, riders outnumber drivers, cagers, by 10 to 1. It's really amazing. And luckily, because of the Golf R event, there are a lot of VWs here, but it's a Saturday at 11 a.m. and I'm probably on the Dragon with 20 other people in this direction. That's it. So, they're going slow because of that truck. This guy in front of me with the green jacket is kind of scaring me a little bit. Not staying in the lines. His lean over is like sloppy. He's coming out of the corner kind of underneath me. It's a little bit scary. So I have to keep my distance. This is kind of one of the problems with the public road, but you really can't, no one's required to go before you. So anyway, back to the brakes. So, I do have a beginner's opinion on the brakes. I understand that. I think my pads are good even for the summer, as long as I don't do any more serious tracking. If I do another track day, definitely replace the pads. The rotors, the problem with my wheel size, even though they are HRE performance wheels at 2 inches, they don't have a huge amount of gap for a big brake kit. They're not designed for a big brake kit. I like the wheels a lot, and the big brake kits that I want are $3,000, so I don't think it's something that I'm concerned about right now. But but I do think that I'll keep my rotors the same size they are today, and maybe keep the same calipers. It's 2 piston calipers, stock ones. But change the rotors to be a 2-piece setup, so they're lighter weight and some less unspun weight, but also upgrade the pads to EBC or some other brand Most importantly, it gives off less brake dust, but also withstands the higher heat of this kind of driving. And that would be nice. So, less on front weight, a bit more heat dissipation from the rotors being slotted, and then finally better pads to withstand the heat dissipation and dust. Yeah, even daily driving, the stock VW pads dust like crazy. So I'm a little bit excited to get pads that are cleaner, for sure. So it appears this last half of the Dragon is pretty boring. We're not pulling nearly as many Gs. I've probably robbed you guys of the beautiful experience. Yeah, the guy in front of me, I don't know if you guys saw that. He's doing weird things. He shook his head. Like, nah, I fucked up there. They all have Senna systems, so they're all talking to each other, and I feel like one of them needs to be like, guys, let's get off. These guys through. But it's not happening. Just flashed them, but hold up. Give him a little honk to see if that helps. Nope. They had a chance to go out there and they didn't. So we are stuck behind these guys for the whole route. I've got a Golf R and a cruising or touring bike behind me that they definitely want to go faster. These guys will not get over. There's a black Golf R behind me. I assume he's on the same channel as anyone. Oh well. So definitely into this summer, rotor and pad improvements. The tires, though, when you're on this thing the first time, you give it a little bit of power, like you'd expect on normal roads, but then you're like, I didn't hear you squealing at all. And then you give a bit more power, and all of a sudden you're taking a turn at 47, 48 miles an hour, and you don't hear any squealing of the back tire. It's like, whoa, this is a little amazing here. Very unexpectedly fast. Yeah, I'm a bicyclist. It's hard to really talk, but I'm not going faster because I have less stuff to compliment. But they are committed to not stopping, these guys. So, Wookies in the Woods, it's been a fun time. I've had a nice time up here. Tonight is the barbecue and beer swap. And tomorrow, I'm going to try to get home by tomorrow night. And it's like 17 hours home. I'm pushing them, they're not getting home. It's 17 hours home, and I'd like to do it in one shot. I have low expectations that's going to happen. Yeah, we're at the end of the Dragon, so kind of a letdown there. But I'm going to keep recording, so we're going to keep going through to to the Fontana Dam, and then I'll stop the tape, because the last bit here, I'm assuming these guys are going to pull off, and I can take Fontana Dam to show you guys that view, and then we will wrap up this video. It'll be about, 30 minutes long or so. These guys, fucking killing me. They're braking in turns. A nice Lancer Evo. Really old guy driving it too. I mean, I'm not judging. It's just awesome that like you always see those as boy racer cars. But I've noticed a lot of guys on the Dragon are not what you would call posers. I probably am a poser in some circles, but you know, their cars are built to handle the Dragon, and they come here and they go all out. And they're not just, you know, they're not in these cars just to look good. These guys are dicks. Total dicks. Fuckers. There we go. This is the last road here. It's not officially Tail of the Dragon. It's the road, I think, back to Fontana. But you can get some nice turns in here. Most of the motorcyclists I've noticed always get off at that pit stop. It's the watering hole. So we can take some 50-mile-an-hour turns here. Sorry for the wind noise, but it is hot in here. I've got the AC off. 25-mile-an-hour turn ahead. So we brake. Let out. No squealing. It is remarkable how these tires just hug. At 51 miles an hour, we are hugging. My dash cam is like, screw you, man. But every time that beep goes off, it just means that the dash cam is recording for like 30 seconds before and after the beep. I'll have some cool extra footage from the front and rear cameras. 65. Turn to 55. There we go. There's a little bit of a screech there. I don't know if you guys picked that up or not. I did cross the yellow line, so that means that 55 is as much as I should go in these. That's 49. We got one of these guys taking pictures of me. I was riding the yellow line that whole time, so I'm certain that I'm definitely going to look at those pictures whenever I get home. I don't know if I'll buy any. I might buy one just to get rid of that watermark as a keepsake. If I lived locally, though, I would totally be doing that. Photographing in these shady areas with lots of sunlight coming through the shades and lots of beautiful cars. Man, it is a... It would be a very easy gig. All you're doing is just minor color, white balance, minor brightness, contrast, and then just uploading. Throwing a watermark on it, uploading. And to be frank, you can just run a Photoshop script or action and just bulk upload those to his website. And I think I'm selling for $10 per digital copy. And I don't even know if it's raw. I don't even know if it's full resolution. No clue. But they're making good money for these guys. And I believe on the website, the preview image is like 320 by 240 resolution with a big old watermark on it. So it's like, it's Instagram ready, but it's not Flickr ready. Flickr's a better class of user photography. So we are nearing the end of our journey here. Tail of the Dragon, I probably added a year of wear and tear to this car by coming here. Woo! By coming here. The tires are brand new. They're probably at like the 6-month mark now, maybe 9-month mark. The brakes for sure. I don't know how, my shocks, because when you have lowering springs, your shocks have to do a lot more work. So these corners, the shocks are working their asses off. I'm not really flooring it, so my clutch isn't, I'm changing gears a lot, but I don't believe the pressure plate or the clutch itself is having to do any more work than it would on my normal daily driving. The full torque, I'm not going full torque or wide open throttle on these roads. You just can't. So I don't believe that's going to be impacted too much, even at stage 2. Walter, though, at stage 3, he and Sanjay, Sanjay drove the car too, both agree that on launch there is DSG clutch slip. And APR hasn't recommended a replacement clutch yet, but I think he'll need one sooner rather than later if he does more events like this.